Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to Capri Social Network. So, in today's video, ladies and gentlemen, I want to talk about when when a broke, dusty dude usually backfires. And then some of you were wondering, what does the thumbnail have to do with this here topic? It's on behalf of some guys who happen to be with women. Bobby Brown, who happened to be married to Whitney Houston, who for the most part and practically was taking care of him due to how he fell off in the music and entertainment industry. Also, Kevin Federline, who never was anybody that was well known to start with, yet and still was living off of Britney Spears' wealth, and on behalf of how she practically was taking care of him and how she was a sole provider in a marriage, although she's no longer with him anymore. And as you also can see in the thumbnail, Nicki Minaj and her husband Kenneth, who she goes out of her way to provide for, someone who is always in trouble with the law, her husband Kenneth as well, and who happens to also fit the description of a broke dusty. With that being said, I'm going to show you also this here clip, and this here clip that I'm about to show is on behalf of IG, aka Instagram, on behalf of a woman who happened to go out of her way to look for a job and almost get her husband hired to work at a local Waffle House restaurant, only for him to decline for going in to the interview, which is a perfect example, once again, of how women, so many women, not just black women specifically, but women of other races and nationalities, as I mentioned earlier, Britney Spears as a perfect example of how women of other ethnicities usually go out of their ways to entertain being with guys and continue to also entertain broke, dusty relationships as well. Anyhow,
work at McDonald's.
Chill out.
Bro, chill, bro. You doing too much.
No.
Got him a job interview up here at the Waffle.
let me replay it again from the very beginning.
Outside the Waffle House, y'all. My baby dad got another job interview. He didn't want to work at McDonald's.
Chill out.
Bro, chill, bro. You doing too much.
No.
Got him a job interview up here at the Waffle House because I got a homegirl that work up here, so she was able to get him the interview, right?
Oh, chill, bro.
I done pulled all the way up here to the Waffle House, and this boy gonna sit here and tell me he not finna get out and he not finna go in because he don't want to work at the Waffle House. That's embarrassing,
here, bro. I'm not finna do that,
like,
bro.
what is you talking about? I'm sick of all this. Oh, that's embarrassing
here.
stuff.
No,
like, what do you mean? We need money.
Bro,
We need money. We need
you trying to
income.
force it, bro. I'm not
We need an
finna do
income.
this.
You're not making no type of money, bro. All you do is want to sit on your butt and think I'm supposed to pay for everything, bro.
I'm not
You think I'm supposed to pay for everything? I'm supposed to provide, support you? Like, this is getting too much on me, bro. I'm only one person. I have a lot of responsibilities. Like, I'm tired of this.
It's Waffle House, bro. Like, I'm not.
Okay, we just
busy,
need.
bro.
It don't matter if it gets too busy. Work the shift that's not busy, bro. We need extra income. Every job I'm putting you on, you're not working it. You're not even going into the interviews. You're wasting my gas by having to come up here. I came up here for you to go to this interview, and you can't even get out of the car to go in the interview, bro.
I know what they gonna say.
I wasted my gas.
I know
like,
what
what
they
do you mean,
bro? I'm not.
What do you mean? You know what they gonna say? You don't know what they gonna say?
No, bro. I know they.
So,
Now, this here is a perfect indication of how several women, once again, in spite of race or ethnicity, would go out of their ways to keep on providing for men who refuse to provide for them, due to how, and according to the Bible and judging from a biblical standpoint, how the man is always supposed to be the one to be the provider in the relationship, in a marriage, primarily the marriage, because not once, and I know this is off topic, does the Bible mention anything about a man and a woman being boyfriend and girlfriend? However, we have made it so popular to be in casual relationships to the point where marriage is such a taboo thing, such a taboo issue nowadays. And it's looked at, it's underrated, judging from my perspective, as opposed to how casual relationships and dating are more so overrated. Once again, judged from my perspective, in my humble opinion. But like she stated earlier, this here female in this here clip, Instagram clip, of how she has tried to look for several jobs over and over for her man, the father of her kid or kids, only for him to keep on declining them. And this also goes to show you how insecure some women are, how they'll usually go out of their ways to be with a man who can't provide for them, for fear sometimes of how that man may leave them. And not only that, but how that man may happen to also cheat on them as well. Although there are women who go out of their ways to the utmost extreme to do for these types of men who are not providers in the relationships or the marriage at all, only for these men to still end up cheating for them. These are the types of women that will give these men, metaphorically speaking and figuratively speaking, the coat off of their shoulders. Also, literally speaking as well. And these are the same types of women who also choose the guys by their likes who fit the descriptions of a Pookie and a Ray Ray. The same types of guys who always are costing them a lot of stress and turmoil while being in relationships with these guys, long-term relationships with these guys. The same types of guys who these women over and over like to complain about, complaining about them to girlfriends of theirs, to female relatives of theirs, even to pastors of theirs. These are the same types of women who will have the nerve to bring these guys to church with them. Even on behalf of some of these women that are in relationships with these guys who may happen to be in church, but their guys that they're with may not be in church at all, they will still go as far as telling their pastors about these guys and asking their pastors for advice on whether they should leave these guys alone or not. These are the same types of women who look at that as something of a privilege, you could say, to a certain degree, of being with these types of men who are used to some of the most abusive, whether they may be either physically abusive towards women, verbally abusive, physically towards women, even mentally abusive towards women. In some cases, all of the above, but women still refuse to let go of these guys. And even for some women who do end up breaking up with these guys, some will eventually still go back to these guys on down the line. Especially these women, maybe like this woman in this here clip, who happens to have a kid or kids by this guy who she went out of her way to look for a job for. Personally, I feel like she should have just dropped him off top from the very first time that she tried to get him a job, from the very beginning until the time she made this here post on behalf of her, almost getting him a job to work at a local Waffle House. And due to his pride, he felt like he was too good to work at a place of that nature. And this also goes to show you how several women will use to tolerate being with these types of guys, no matter how these guys can't do for them, much less do for themselves, only to not be alone as well. I look at it from that perspective too, how they may go for these types of guys just to prevent from being alone, just to also be able to brag with their girlfriends that they have a man. And in some cases that they may not have just a man, but a man who is abusive towards them. Guys who knows how to put the pipe on them, lay the pipe on them real good, so to speak. Because some women also refuse to lead these types of guys due to how good these guys may be in the bedroom, which is utterly ridiculous and crazy. Also a big sign of insecurity to me. This also goes to show you how some women can't get over swag as well. They would sacrifice being with a man just because his swag even if that man doesn't have a job, doesn't have his own car, will go out of their ways, if they may have a car of their own, to let the guys drop them off at work just so he could drive their cars. And for the most part, they could be able to keep these guys that way, keep tabs on guys that way in some instances, only for the guys to still go behind their backs and cheat on them. Because how many of you know of women that are in the same predicament who may be working a career making around $100,000 a year, between 70 to perhaps to 100,000 a year. In some cases, more than 100,000 a year. May have a very nice house in a gated subdivision. However, may have a guy who's just sleeping around in her house playing video games, and always is high all the time. Is good for nothing except for sex, as a lot of these women like to brag about, only to continually complain about these men, to once again, to either girlfriends, relatives, female relatives, in some cases male relatives, even their pastors, but refuse to leave these men alone for good. And then when they do claim they're done with these men for good, they may sneak around on their new boyfriends and husbands to be back with these men, get back with these men on a sexual level. Anyways, you guys make sure, like always, you like the video, you comment on it, you subscribe to the channel, and last but not least, you also share the video. Until next time, you guys have